Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Urban Libertarian here, back again. And I opened the Drudge Report this morning, and it says Trump dumps the trannies for the military. And I want to talk about that. And it's just really interesting that I'm monitoring CNN today, and the first breaking news: Trump's doesn't allow transgenders in the military. Blah 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 blah. And the last story is, and North Korea could hit the U.S. with a nuke within a year. I'm like, wow, that's priorities totally mismatched. Like, take it. Which affects people more? Which affects the vast majority of Americans? Not being allowed to serve in the military if you happen to be transgendered, which is extremely rare, or everybody in the whole United States, including transgender people, melting in a nuclear apocalypse. Wow, CNN, get your priorities straight for fuck's sake. So everybody's talking about this, and honestly, there is some serious shit going on in the world right now, and I'm not talking about it. We're not talking about it because of this and Russia and a bunch of other shit. So I'm going to talk about it. Um, and here's the thing: it's not like because I'm not. What's my position on this? You're wondering, right? You're probably gonna go, "Oh, urban libertarian, you hate trannies, you don't want them in the military." Well, actually, I have nothing against transgender people. I've actually known some really cool transgender people, actually, and they went all the way. And they cut it off. Uh, that's their choice. I don't really believe that anybody can truly be transgender. Can you really be trans animal, or can you be transracial, like Rachel Dozell? I don't know if you say her name, Rachel Dozell, whatever her name is, the white woman that thinks she's black. Like, it's really funny. It's so controversial for her to say that she's black, right? It's like, oh, well, you can't be black. That's impossible. You're born white. But yet, we accept the fact that men can be women and women can be men. I understand that there are surgeries, there are pills, there's medications. I get it, but you can never really be a man if you were genetically born a woman, and vice versa. Like, who, I don't know, somebody came out with this thing, men get periods too, and it was a picture with the whatever, right? But it was trying to say, well, a woman who's trying to pretend to be a man or thinks she's a man, whatever a man is in her eyes, whatever, her vagina bleeds because she has a vagina, not a penis. Uh, it's insanity, and that's the point of why the generals and Trump are. See, I don't like the term banning transgender. What I think they should have said is, look, everybody is welcome in the military, which is true. Every American should be welcome in the military. First of all, okay, doesn't matter. But the military is not going to provide any kind of hormone treatment or surgery to cut things off or add. I don't guess you can't add a penis, can you? Or maybe give you breasts if you're a man and you want to go get breasts to be a woman. I mean, honestly, when you're in the military, you're a number. You're there to fight. Like, you should even, like, men and women shouldn't. It's just soldier, right? So I get where it's distracting because I don't know where the rights stop or begin with that, right? Because if you're in the military and you say, well, I'm a transgender and to better fulfill my mental capacity of thinking I'm a woman, I need boobs, right? So now we got to pay for your boobs. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, now these are going to hinder your, who knows? You said silicone pop in the field, and now you got to deal with that. Serious. I mean, that's a potential issue. It's bad enough that you've got women that have fake boobs in the military. Probably not that many. I'd like to see the statistic on that. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? It just seems, bouncing around. It just doesn't seem like a place to have fake boobs and lipstick and all that stuff. Um, so that's where I think Trump's wrong to say transgender people, but because it is sort of discriminatory when you really think about it. But it should just be, look, the military will no longer pay for any kind of surgeries or pills to people who believe that they're so-called transgenders, right? That's fine. If you are transgender, you can join the military. I think that's fine. It's just, I would say, if you were genetically a man, that you should cut your hair short, just like all the other men are required to. And then if you're a woman pretending to be a man, I guess if you want to have short hair and look like a butch lesbian, that's fine too, because there's nothing that says you have to have long hair, right? Because generally speaking, I mean, historically, military service was geared towards men, and that's fine. And I think if women want to put their ass on the line to die for the country, that's cool. And they want equality, they should sign up for secret service, or it's not secret, for selective service. I don't know if you can selectively as a female sign up for selective service, or if you're transgender. I don't know. Do you, now, if you're here's the thing: if you're a transgender male and you're transgendering into a female, are you required to sign selective service? I would say yes, because you're genetically born a male. Now, there are those rare occasions where some people are somewhere in between, and I get it, it's even rarer than being transgendered. So how rare is being transgendered? Oh, before I get into that, now I'm going to argue the other way. There are some people that are fat, and that's a big problem in the military right now. A lot of people are fat, right? And then we've got to pay for their like statin drugs or whatever I don't know, their diet pills, their Adderall, whatever they need to cut weight, right? So I guess if you're fat, you're allowed to be in the military. Can't really discriminate, but I don't know. There should be some more tighter physical restrictions on that. So how many people does this really affect? Wait, that's how many countries. So here's how many trans people are actually in the military. And this article out of Bloomberg saying, oh, it's only going to cost like 0.0014% of defense spending because, right, there's barely any people that are even really transgendered in the military. Care for transgender people in the military would add up to $8.4 million to the total medical cost. That's a lot of money. That could go to other things. There's little concrete data on how many trans people serve in the military, and the Department of Defense didn't respond to a request for comment, other than recent attempts to figure out how many transgender people serve in the military have come to far larger estimates, raising the possibility that Trump's decision to bar transgender people from serving in the military, which I don't think you should really do. You should just not add any extra services to them, would eliminate the nation's single largest employer of transgender Americans. Okay, so if the military is the single largest employer of transgender Americans, which I call complete horseshit on that, a 2014 study estimated that 15,000 trans people were currently serving in the U.S. military. Okay. So let's say there's 15,000 people in the military who are transgender. I don't know, right? And then if that's the biggest employer of transgender, there's not even that many people. I mean, this is like, there are probably more, I don't even know, like there's definitely more autistic people. What is it, what they say? Like it's like 1 in 60 kids now or something. I don't even know what it is. Don't quote me on that, but an alarming number of kids are born autistic now. I mean, it's extremely rare. And then that may even be a high number. Look, because there was another study that said 8,000 people were in active duty, and another 6,700 were in the National Guard. Maybe that's how they add that up, I guess. But this says transgender may join the military at a higher rate than other groups. I don't know where you get that from. I'm not sure, but coming from LA, I know there's a lot of Mexican American, Hispanic people in the military. That's very a big thing around in East LA around here. I don't think that there's that many. So look, there's not that many people. And where was it? 8. So only 18 countries actually allow transgender people. Trump's transgender military ban leaves only 18 countries with full LGBT rights in armed forces. So I'm looking at it the other way. Let's look at it the other way, right? So one out of 103 countries, and this is the countries studied by in this the Hague Center for Strategic Studies off Wikipedia, right? 19 countries allow transgender military. So 18, 19, whatever, right? And a further 9 countries might allow transgender personnel. So if you think about it, a lot of countries, the vast majority of countries don't allow transgender people in the military. So we just joined the majority, right? And it's a minority. And it's, if you look at it like this way, like, well, obviously the rest of the world has something going right with it, right? And you could argue, well, look, it's only, I mean, it's Australia, United Kingdom, right? England, or did I say United Kingdom? Canada. But I mean, if you look, Italy, that's a westernized country. They don't have transgenders. Can we zoom in on this? I mean, there's a lot of countries. There's a bunch of European countries, and it's interesting if you look because Western Europe and Eastern Europe. Can I move through this? Oh, what did I do? Back. Anyway, if you look, Eastern Europe's a bit more of a no-no on that. That's pretty interesting. There's a big divide, and this is where a lot of the people, the quote-unquote, what do you call it? It's the migrants are coming in here a lot. I mean, they're not going here, so it's very interesting in a value set here. Northern Ireland, I think that's Northern Ireland, right? They're like, there's no transgenders. Mexico, all over Latin America, except a few countries, all over Africa, all over Asia. Uh, no trans. I'm surprised Thailand doesn't have transgenders. So it really doesn't affect a lot of people. And again, I'm not against. Let me get this. Let me be clear. I'm not against transgender people being in the military at all. What he should have said is that we are not going to pay for any kind of surgery, and that men born as men, while serving and in uniform, must look like men, and there can be a legal definition of men: short hair, right? Short hair, no makeup. How about that? Short hair, no makeup. And if you want to take transgender pills, I would honestly say, since you're a property of the United States government at that point, you shouldn't even be allowed to, because if you're a man and you're taking estrogen, that's not really going to help you in the battlefield, right? And if you want to join the military, you're going to have to sacrifice some things. People sacrifice their freedoms when they join the military. That's why we appreciate them so much when they do that. So I would say if you're transgender and you want to serve in the military, you're still allowed to join the military. You're just not allowed. You're not going to be able. If you're a guy, you can't wear makeup. You can't have long hair. If you're a woman, I guess you can't take testosterone, which may help you actually in your PTs and being stronger. But that's a whole other issue. That's almost like an advantage. But as a woman, it's being a man. You know what I see it. I mean, a woman in a military uniform looks like a fucking man, right? So I don't really see how they can ban you if they'll just say I'm a butch lesbian, whatever, and the lesbians are allowed and gays are allowed. Just you can't dress like the opposite sex that you look like. I think that's the bottom line. I think that's what they should just say. Look, you can't dress like the opposite sex. You can't look like the opposite sex. So basically, just for men, for women, I guess you can't really stop it because again, the protocol is looking like a man, short hair, no makeup, and no pills and no surgery. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think I'm being fair on this. Thanks for watching.